I can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. It. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
Here we go. It's another edition of the Daily Puck Drop. Welcome in, kiddos. Thursday, June 19th. How is everybody doing on this wonderful Thursday? Good to see everyone. Good to hear. Well, I can't really hear you. You can only hear me. Of course, we broadcast every day, daily. That's why we call it the Daily Puck Drop. How about that? 10 a.m. on all your favorite platforms. YouTube, Twitter. I'm not sure Twitter's everyone's favorite platform. Also on the Puck Sports mobile app. That's right. If you don't want to look at this beautiful face and you just want to listen to the terrible voice, you can do so with the Puck Sports mobile app. Download it to your iPhone or your Android phone, and you can listen to the show on your phone, the live version of it. Also, Apple CarPlay as well. So, again, you have choices at 10 a.m. for the live version if you can only listen to it. Now, once the show is over, post everything up right at noon. YouTube, Puck Sports. The full show is up there. Sometimes we separate the guest as well if you just want to watch the guest. Also up on your favorite podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your wonderful podcast. And, of course, we put everything up at the world-renowned pucksports.com, where you can sign up to become a Pucks Posse member, just $5 a month. Get a discount if you sign up for a year. Now, the benefits of the Pucks Posse membership are this. Benefits you today. Mitch Unfiltered. Mitch Levy joins me in the live show every single Thursday. We play the entire interview podcast during the live show today. But once the live show goes dark right around 11:30, that is just for Pucks Posse members. Or if you are already a paying member of Mitch Unfiltered, MitchUnfiltered.com, you can access it there, both the audio and video versions. Now, it's a miracle because this week, I don't believe we had any technical problems. And when I see technical problems, me. But last week, I get it. You know what? The benefit of last week, because there was a global outage, all right? So not my fault entirely. Mitch will be coming up a little bit later in the show. Brad Adam will be joining us here in about 15 minutes or so. Caught up with Brad as he was in his hotel room getting ready to head out. The beautiful golf course somewhere in Chicago, as with the M's and Cubs will start a series tomorrow. So you'll hear from Brad coming up shortly as we talk about the M's and talk about where they're at right now as they embark on a 10-game road trip. They'll find them in Chicago, Minneapolis, and Texas. Mitch, this is probably, of the 36 minutes or so we did today, I think I talked for a minute. But why? You don't want to hear from me. You want to hear from him. He's great. What do we got? Also, no Garafolo today. Garafolo was traveling, but Mike is going to join us in the Friday show. Mike's going to join us tomorrow. Hopefully, fingers crossed, the go-to guy is back. What the hell's going on with him? He had a doctor's appointment, and then I don't know what went awry. But hopefully, we'll have the go-to guy tomorrow along with Chris Egan, and we'll get a surprise visit with Mike Garafolo. All right, on the rundown, as you see, we'll talk about – I want to get in a little bit of Cal's historic season before we talk to Brad Adam coming up here shortly. Sports heartbreak, get to that in a second. Brad Adam, Mitch Unfiltered, then we wrap it up with Hey, What the Puck. The M's, of course, they go down yesterday to Garrett Crochet as Crochet handcuffed the Mariners 3-1, drops them now to 37-36. Astros keep winning because they're facing the A's and they've got a bunch of bad opponents. But now that deficit is at 5.5 games. Luis Castillo pitched fine, but the only thing with Castillo is Home runs. He just always gives up home runs. 2 more home runs yesterday there for Luis Castillo. But other than that, pitch fine. It was just effective. But again, you lose a series in which they are now 1-4 in series since the start of June. The only one they won was, of course, the Indians won. Indians. How about the Guardians? Guardians won. I got the movie Major League on my head because not Major League, but my son has not seen Major League. Also did not see Bad News Bears. We watched Bad News Bears last night. Terrific. Just terrific. The original one, by the way, Walter Matthau, not the new one with Billy Bob. Although we are going to give the Billy Bob one a shot just to see what it's at, where it's at. I don't, and I'll be honest, I'm not sure I've seen the second or the third one. Is this Bad News Bears the second one when they go to spring training, or is it when they go to Japan? I don't think I've seen the second one, but we're going to watch it. I know it doesn't have Matthau, so it doesn't count. Not the same. But I did warn him. I said, yeah, you're going to hear some language in the original one that you cannot, cannot repeat. I forget like what they say. 1976, not that long ago. 49 years ago, 48 years ago, not that long ago. Loved every second of it. And of course, everyone's favorite, Tanner. Loves Tanner. Who doesn't love Tanner? Anyways, I got sidetracked. Baseball, Bad News Bears, Red Sox, you're going to lose series. You're just going to because I said Indians instead of Guardians. Then I thought of Major League because we were going to watch Major League. You score a run in 2 of the games, you're going to lose. And so they're off to a rough start here in June. They're just not playing good baseball, not playing crisp. They're getting healthier with their pitching and all that. So maybe all this stuff kind of comes around. But what will plague them and has plagued them all year long is just going to be offensively just not being able to get things going for them. They had Crochet a little bit on the ropes down that second inning after Rosarina got a double. Do you think he should have a double on that one? I know the sun plays a factor in Duran, but he did get a glove on it. I don't know. Official score, if I'm on Game Changer, I'll be honest with you. If I'm on Game Changer at a parent and a kid gets a glove on a ball, that's an error. And doesn't make it's an error. That's an error on Duran. That's not a double for Rosarina. I'm sorry. That is no way. I know the sun was playing a factor, but he still got his mitt on it. It went inside his glove and bounced off. That's an error on Duran. That's not a double for Rosarina. Solano, Williamson, they followed with a singles with the 1 out, but Mastroboni with the force out, and then Dylan Moore strikes out. And we bring this up with Brad in today's show with Brad coming up in a little bit, is the Dylan Moore, and everybody loves Dylan Moore. And you have to say that every time, right? Everybody loves Dylan Moore. I love Dylan Moore. He's carved out a hell of a career for himself. It's not a disappointment. He's playing Major League Baseball. He's thrust into a role too much where he plays too much because he's a utility player and should be used that way a lot, but he's used too much with this organization. But batting him leadoff yesterday was mind-boggling. Absolutely mind-boggling. Decision by Dan Wilson and his staff. And there's layers to it. What the first question I'd be like, why him? And you'll say, well, what other better options do they have? Fair. I'd bat Julio leadoff. Not Dylan Moore. Bat Julio, hit Julio first, hit Cal second, hit a Rosarina third. Or hit a Rosarina second and hit Cal third. There are better options than Dylan Moore hitting leadoff. Okay, well, I don't want to upset our superstar player. He's done it before. He's actually had success hitting leadoff. He can get on base, and once he gets on base, he's a terror on there. But hitting a guy leadoff that had not had a hit in June, I think his OPS was 125 in June. And you look at his other numbers that the prior 10 games, no hits, 12 strikeouts, 2 walks. You take it past the 10 games, the past 32 games for Dylan Moore. 187 with an on base of 253. He struck out 35 times and 7 walks. And that's the guy that we want to hit leadoff. I just breathtakingly stupid what that was yesterday to bat him leadoff. The other layer of it is now I get a pass if something comes out that he was banged up. But why is J.P. Crawford sitting? Someone with an intelligent baseball mind, tell me why he would sit against one of the toughest lefties in baseball. He's on a heater. He's hitting 390 this month, by the way. He's been, besides Cal, and really he's your best hitter. He obviously can hit left-handers, has done it before. Why are you sitting him? You have an off day today. Now you're going to say, well, we're going to give him 2 days off. You need wins. You need series wins. You need to put the best team out there on the field. You don't. Your margin of error or of this is slim. You can't afford to have J.P. Crawford sitting on the bench, especially when we're not playing today. Now, again, he had some like mishap in the game on the day before or something, and you're like, all right, well, you need to give him extra enough, fine. But I haven't seen anything of that. Brad didn't hear anything about that. But that to me is just a odd decision, odd roster construction yesterday. And I said it before the show because we talked about it, before the first pitch. Again, I get he's 21 years old and whatever, but at some point, Cole Young, when he continues to move forward, is going to have to face Garrett Crochet, guys like him. Why not just throw him in there? Let's see what he can do. He's been the last 8-9 games has been fine. He's been more than fine. Can I just see him against a really, 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 really hard left-hander? He did it in the minors. No, I guess sometimes with these guys and this platoon system and the thinking of this organization is just frustrating because I think we too many kid gloves and overthinking it sometimes. How about we just put the team out there with the best hitters? And in the last, 8-9 games, Cole Young's been one of your better hitters. Can we just see him, please? And and here's the other thing of last night's game. And then I want to get to Cal's historic season because I was looking up some stuff and just he's having a remarkable season. But when you start comparing him to some of these other catchers that have these historical seasons, you're like, oh my God. Again, we've got to preface this by saying, I'm sure he's a nice guy. I don't know him personally. None of us do. It's just all based on what he is providing on the field. But and I know they're probably trying to trade Harry Ford, and that's why he's not up. They don't want to bring him up, show him to the rest of the league at the major league level. He struggles, and all of a sudden his value goes down. So I get it, but can we sooner rather than later just put it into the Mitch Garver thing? It's not working out. It hasn't worked out. The $24 million is a complete sunk cost on Mitch Garver. It's down the toilet. He's hitting 205. He's slugging 259. It's just an absolute. It's a turd burger. Just again, if they don't trade Ford, he probably comes right up, and then they get rid of Garver. I would hope that's going to be the case. And I know that the argument against it, and I think I was kind of one of those because I think Jim early on was like, let's bring up Harry Ford. Let's go now. I was like, well, God, if you do that, though, is it going to stun his growth? Because he's got to catch, every day. It's important for him to catch every day down in Tacoma. That's what he's doing. He comes up here. He's not going to catch. He's going to catch once or twice a week. But now I'm in full agreement with Jim and others. Just get rid of it. You can't. I can't watch it anymore. Can't watch him go up there and just, flail away every single time. There's nothing competitive about his at-bats or anything that he's bringing to the mix there. So, yeah, no more Mitch Garver. Cal chasing history. That's going to be kind of a big thing. We talked yesterday about MVP and where he's at and the position he plays. And he's, the history that he's chasing right now. And he's every time that he does something, there's another like incredible stat or number that the Mariners come up with that he accomplishes that no one else has ever accomplished in the game. But right now is line 266, 373, 622. and a 944 OPS, 27 home runs. He's driven in 60. His OPS plus is 188. So right now he's on pace for 56 home runs and 107 runs driven in, and an 8 WAR. He's got 55 games. He's only DH'd 16 times. So there's only been 3 catchers with an 8+ WAR in a season. An 8+, that's like Hall of Fame. It's exceptional. The 8, 9, that 9 to 10 range, right? Mike Piazza, 97, Bench in 72, Gary Carter in 1982 with those fabulous Montreal Expo uniforms. And I was looking back and thinking about like Raleigh's season and how historic it could be. And I've said several times, this could be, the greatest season ever for a catcher. Then you forget, and I had to remind myself of Mike Piazza in 1997. And what's amazing about Piazza's 97 season, he didn't even win the MVP. Larry Walker did. And I would be like, how did Larry Walker win it over Mike Piazza? Especially with the position that Piazza plays. Piazza 97 hit 362. His on base was 431. He slugged 638, over 1,000 OPS, 40 home runs, 124 RBIs. He played 139 games as a catcher. He was only DH 7. He was only 7 times DH. Larry Walker, as I mentioned before, beat him out. Larry Walker. And again, Larry Walker had a great year. In 366, he hit 49 home runs and 130 ribbies. But come on. The guy caught 139 games and put up those numbers in 97. So I don't think Cal's going to get that. I think it's safe to say Cal's not going to eclipse them. Johnny Bench in 72 was 270, 379, 541, 920 OPS, 40 home runs, 125 RBIs. And then Gary Carter in 82, 293, 381, 510, 890, 29 home runs, and 97 runs driven in. Salvador Perez, he's got the single season record with home runs, 48. But Cal's doing it. Cal's putting up, again, in the category of Piazza, Bench, Carter. Think of the names he's being associated with right now. Salvador Perez, the greats of the game, catcher greats of the game is what Cal Raleigh has been putting up. It's just remarkable to watch. It's fun to watch. And again, we could do a show every single day about him. Sports Heartbreak. We got more Sports Heartbreak. Probably with Hey, What the Puck, after we hear from Brad Adam and Mitch Unfiltered. But Sports Heartbreak, because there's something that happened last night, was just, I mean, it will crush you. But the Sports Heartbreak tonight that we are going to witness, the funeral, is kind of the last twisting of the knife for many of us, NBA fans, Sonic fans, while wearing the Sonics hat. By the way, OKC Hate Watch Party, Mike's Chili Parlor, Ballard, been around for 100+ years. If you want to go there, go check it out. Right across the Ballard Bridge, right next to the Ballard Bridge. Mike Varell had wrote a piece, last week about going there. Michael Shandugar, for some reason, this Putz is quoted in there. Michael Shandugar, piece came out yesterday at The Athletic. By the way, subscribe to The Athletic. Subscribe to SeattleTimes.com too. But subscribe to our guy, Mike. Of course, Dugar joins us throughout the football season. He contacted me right after that game one watch party that we had, the hate party, and wanted to write a story about it. And he did. It's out, athletic.com, detailing just, the emotions that many of us have about tonight. And I know there's many out there who think you should get over it. Sorry, I know I'm not supposed to swear anymore. Fuck that. Never going to get over it. And that's okay. It's okay not to get over something like this. It's sports. It's not like serious real life. I'm not going to ever get over it. I'm not going to ever not root against that team. Ever. I have a special sports hatred place in my heart for that organization. And the only thing that's going to save it tonight when they win, because they're going to win, maybe Indiana pulls off a miracle please. But they're going to win the series. I'd rather them win tonight because it's in Indiana, and I'd want that nothing ruins a championship more, I think, than when the team wins it on the road. You want to win it in front of your fans. I don't want to see them win in front of their fans. I want to see them win it in Indiana, celebrate on that court, fine, and be over and be done with it. But yeah, this is the last one. This is the twist on it. And I think many of us feared it all season long as you watch them play, especially when they got in the postseason. There's just no one better than them. Certainly no one better in the West. There's no one better in the NBA at all. And what is terrible is that there's not in the future, there's no one better than them for the next couple of years. I know I've mentioned this before. Until they start reaching crazy contracts and they won't be able to afford all these guys, and those guys will hit free agency and leave. But in the next couple of years, as they kind of have them under contract and have it secured, they'll have a mini dynasty because there's no one equal to them right now. And yeah, I mean, thank God I have baseball practice tonight. But when I do watch it later, watch them celebrate. Yeah, it get bitter. It's be very, very bitter. And it's just another gut punch reminder, of what we lost over 15 years ago and the connection to the city. I thought Mike did a good job in his story in The Athletic today of understanding the connection of this organization right here that's on my hat and this community. Because I said it in the piece to Mike, and I'm glad he used that quote. This is a Sonics town in its core. The people have grown, like me and others, who have grown up here, who have lived here our entire lives. And it's not a shot at people that have moved from out of state and have lived here for 20 plus years and all that. It's not a shot at them. But if you've grown up here and going to those games your entire life and remember what it was like as a kid to go to the old Coliseum, and then after the Coliseum, you bounce over to Dick's and get a deluxe and a cheeseburger and fries. You sit down there. You sit there and have conversation with your parents, your buddies, your family about the game and all that. Like for us, yeah, this is not get over it. It cuts very, very deep, and it cuts deep for those people like myself. Because it is in the blood and DNA of this city, like the original Seattle, right? It's in the DNA of the city, that organization. And because they were the first ones, they were before everybody. Now, again, the popularity of the Seahawks and at times of the Mariners and all that. But that organization in its heyday, yeah, I think it's the most to me. And again, that's just an opinion, It's the most impactful franchise I think this city's ever had. And when it comes back, and we'll see, I don't know. I'm genuinely curious of what the reaction from people in this town will be, because the city is so much different now. So many more people who've never lived here. They've no idea what the Sonics are about. Maybe some people who have moved out of the city, suburbs, or moved away. Who knows? This city has grown up so much and is so much bigger now since they left. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, I've been in my car the last 4 freaking days driving around, and I'm telling you, I don't care what time you leave. Here's what you need to budget now. Driving anywhere in this city. 90 minutes. That's it. 90 minutes. I don't care if you're going a mile, 7 miles. 90 minutes standard now driving around here. But yeah, I just think for people who've been here, people who've grown up here, lived here, born here, I just think that organization as a sports fan is the most impactful. And so to watch it tonight, because this is the thing I've never wanted to see. I've never wanted to see them win a championship. And they're going to be on the verge of it tonight. And it's going to be a miserable sports night for many of us. I don't know if I will tune in to watch it. I'm not sure I can stomach watching them win it. We'll be pulling as hard as we can for the Pacers, but yeah, it's going to be a difficult one to witness tonight. We're going to get into more sports heartbreak coming up with Hey, What the Puck. Brad Adam joins us every Thursday to talk a little baseball. Catch up with Brad earlier this morning in Chicago. We tape with Brad Thursday mornings. Talk a lot about the M's. He's got a golf game coming up. He's got a wonderful foursome story. Not that way. We talk about JP. We talk about Cole Young. We get into the Rafael Devers trade. But Brad joins us from Chicago in a messy hotel room, by the way. Our weekly conversation with Brad, all brought to you by John Howie Steak and, of course, whiskey by John Howie.
It was good. I got in, it was raining, and that always worries me, Puck. But I think we're clear today. We should be good for the off day. That's the important thing.
Yeah.
But weather on the off day. Don't worry about the games. If there's delays, rainouts.
Yeah. Doesn't mean anything.
It's going to be over 90. I'm going to be frying over the weekend. Going to be
sitting in one of those hot camera wells.
Yeah, just sitting there baking. I got a little umbrella. You'll be proud of me. I got a little umbrella I'm going to have.
Yeah. When did the umbrella become a thing? The umbrella in the sun.
For the shade.
Because that's common now.
Yes. I like it on golf courses, don't you? Where it connects to your pull cart and it's got the big umbrella shade.
Not a pull cart guy. If I'm not in a cart,
but you carry?
I carry.
My back, I can't do it. I was a little push cart pull.
That's probably why I stink at golf.
Because you're tired.
Yeah,
your back hurts.
Chicago. You know what the thing that Chicago. They got the Bulls, they got the Bears, they got two baseball teams, they got the Blackhawks. You know what they don't have? John Howie Steak. They don't have that.
Oh.
They don't, and they don't have whiskey by John Howie.
They think they've got steakhouses out here.
They don't have a steakhouse like John Howie Steak. They wish they had a steakhouse like John Howie Steakhouse. Best selection of hand-cut meats and steaks from USDA Prime to Japanese A5 Wagyu. Okay, they have maintained a Best of Award of Excellence from Wine Spectator for the past 17 years. Okay. Also, whiskey by John Howie features global selections of rare and well-done whiskeys, something for everyone. Whiskey boasts a collection, hundreds of bottles from around the world. Also, whiskey by John Howie offers a chef-driven menu, elevated food and signature items from John Howie Steak. Shareable plates, perfect for everyone. Yeah, Chicago's got a lot of great things, but they don't have John Howie Steak, and they don't have whiskey by John Howie.
And I think they know it.
They're jealous. They've been jealous for years.
They know it. I'm surprised they don't talk to me. They probably will talk to me today. Try to say, hey, what does John Howie have that none of us have?
Okay. Do we do all the? Okay, you're playing golf today. I want to get into that round because it's an off day, so it's you got to work hard. Let's prep up on the Mariners or what's going on with Chicago and the Cubs. Now you're going to go play 18. God bless you. I love everything about you. Do you do all the Chicago things like when you're there? Do you get you're kind of a healthy eater, so maybe not. Do you get a Chicago dog? Do you do the deep dish?
I do. I do. And I've been told, because we've got 3 day games around Wrigleyville. There's the pizza place to go to is Pequod's, apparently.
Okay.
I've not done that, but 2 Chicago people told me Pequod's. And there's I forgot the name. I haven't it written down. A hot dog that I've got to have. It's all Wrigleyville. So
but you get it loaded how they do it.
After the game. I don't know. Do they? Yeah.
Well, yeah, like the Chicago hot dog.
The Chicago dog.
It's got all the vegetables on it.
That sounds healthy.
Have you? Well, and kind of for you,
yeah,
right?
That's perfect, right? So those will be after the games, Friday, Saturday. So yeah, I do indulge when I go certain cities and do certain different things you can really only get here.
So like the Chicago dog, you get the mustard and the onions, and I think they do.
Oh yeah.
They do like a relish on it. They'll do a pickle spear, tomato slices, peppers, celery salt. Yeah, it's crazy. It's like it's a salad. It's
a salad in a bun.
Salad in a bun.
But is a hot dog a sandwich?
Is a hot dog it's a hot that's a hot dog. It's just a hot dog.
Yeah, exactly. I hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So golf, are we going to hit them straight? Where are we playing today?
I don't know. A course called Bobo Links that Danny Farquhar, one assistant pitching coach, set up, and it was a little touch and go, Puck. We originally had 6 players, right? So we had 2 groups.
Okay.
And it's one of these courses where the assistant pro has to play with you. Like, I don't think they trust us. I don't know if our reputation kind of precedes us.
What do you mean? Why does the assistant pro have to play with you?
I don't know. It's a private course, and maybe they don't think we know how to behave on a golf course.
Probably. And who set this up? Danny Farquhar?
Yes. So we got 2 groups, and then they text back and say, we had 6 players, 2 groups.
Yeah. Can't do it.
Text back, say, hey, we can only do 1.
Yeah.
So we got 4.
Who got axed? Who were the 3 that got? Did you do a Rochambeau?
Well, we were thinking about doing that, but luckily 2 coaches bowed out, and I felt bad. Then they bowed out, Puck. Then I send the text like, "Oh, are you sure? Because you guys should play before me. I mean, I can be out." And they were. But they
no. You go ahead. Are you 100%?
100% sure? Because I don't need to bring my clubs. Because I could just, no. You go ahead,
Brad. That is such a veteran move to wait until they said no. I'm out. We're out.
And then, boom. Yeah. So
great job. So that's going to win you a lot of points. That's going to win you a lot of points.
Next time I try an interview with those guys, it's not going to go so well.
Yeah, are we filming another fairways and fastballs today or no?
Not on the road, no. Okay. I don't think this course would allow that.
Yeah.
The
doesn't sound like it.
That we have apparently not. Yeah.
Does the now that you have a foursome here at this place, does the assistant pro still have to come out there with you?
That's what we've been told. So it'll be a fivesome, I guess.
Oh my!
And is this guy like? Because, a lot of pros sometimes don't get to play a lot. So maybe he's excited to play.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's just like, are you kidding me?
He probably thinks that you're bringing Julio. And he's like, I'm going to get an autograph from Julio. And then he's going to show up and it's Brad Adam. It's like, it's like a pitching coach. And I love Danny Farquhar. And I want to ask you about that. But it's like pitching coach who works on the stretch. It's not like the main pitching coach. It's just
or the manager, right?
Okay, so it's you, Farquhar. Who else?
Yeah, Manny, because Manny's
of course just the
Manny's
star
the
of fair. First of all, the star of fairways and fastballs.
Let's be honest, king of the par threes.
Am I getting the name?
Fairways and fastballs.
Fairways
you
and
are
fastballs.
Correct. Okay. Yes, thank you. On YouTube, go to a channel and watch it.
It's funny. Two episodes.
Two episodes. We got 2 in the can. One's coming out in July, I believe. July 1st or 2nd, which will feature your favorite catcher.
Oh, great.
Cal Raleigh.
Great.
Yes. Playing in a scramble, just letting it rip.
Yeah, I bet he can hit it a mile.
Pretty good. Yeah, not bad.
Who's the 4th member of today's foursome?
One of the in the analytic groups on the front office side, Sam. Yeah, so it'll be fun.
Yeah. Just Sam. You're blank. Like Sam.
Well, it's like a
can't remember the last name.
Reisendorfer. It's like a long.
Let's just go with analytics guy. Yeah. Well, make sure you replace your divots. Get that sand.
Boy, no kidding.
Fill it in. God,
big time. Right.
Assistant pro there.
I know,
Jesus.
Right? No gimmies. Walking in people's line.
Yeah.
Sneezing in the backswing. We can't do any of that stuff.
No. Well, the homestand started off good with a sweep. I don't know how to transition to the Mariners.
Good.
They're not good right now. 1-4 in series in June. Swept by the Orioles. Lost 2 out of 3 to the Angels. Swept by Arizona. They did sweep Cleveland, but then they lose 2 out of 3 to Boston. So it has not been a good month of June here so far, other than what they did to Cleveland.
It's true, but a nice homestand overall. I think you look at it 4-2. We showed the pitching is getting much better now that Kirby's back, now that Gilbert's back. The rotation, I mean, it was really 6 quality turns there at the homestand. But kind of familiar problem with the lack of offense, getting shut out and just scoring 1 run against Boston. Crochet, I mean, obviously Crochet is a good pitcher. So no shame in that really, but it's it kind of is what it is with the offense right now. Everybody's kind of slumping except for Cal. If he doesn't homer, driving 6 runs, they have a hard time scoring, which they've got to be better. They've got to figure that out, right? But I love what the pitching did and the bullpen. I think it was like 18 innings, 1 run on the bullpen. So I think we're hopefully turning the corner, figuring some things out. Guys back in the rotation. And then it's just kind of the ebb and flows right with the offense. and hopefully get a little more consistency. And they got to score on this trip. You know, you got to score on the road, especially you got to score here in Chicago. The Cubs can really mash. So this will be a tough trip, a tough test again for the offense.
And it's a crazy ballpark. Just no lead is ever safe. It's
right. One
it's
of
kind
those.
of Fenway-like. It's swirly out there. If you're not used to playing there, it's just a tough park, especially when you're unfamiliar with it. They don't play there. I mean, I can't remember the last time it's had to been years since they've been back there to play. Maybe it's more recent, but
I think it might have been 2 years ago, 3 maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I was talking to Kirby about it. He's not pitched here, so he's excited about pitching tomorrow. He's got some friends and family in town. So, but all these guys come in and they're like excited to be here. But you're right. A lot of these guys are first time. You're right.
It's a phenomenal ballpark.
Yeah, it is fun.
It's just to me, I mean, I haven't been to all the great ones. But I think I've been to the most of the cathedral ones, right? Old Yankee Stadium, Fenway, Wrigley, Dodger Stadium,
right?
Yeah, I just think that, to me, that's my favorite because of everything around it. It's just the ballpark is great, and then just that little Wrigleyville, that whole area around it is just top notch. Yeah,
and then we kind of keep thinking that they need, a lot of ballparks have been doing that, and that's kind of like where developers and the owners of clubs have made a lot of money, right? Develop around and get people to come all day and get people to come down there, not just for baseball games, right? Not just for concerts. It's something where, it's packed every night. So that's I know that T-Mobile would love to have, something like that. And they've started with the hat back across the street, but if we can get more stuff down there, make it like a destination type thing, like a Fenway, Wrigleyville. Yeah.
Why'd they sit JP?
Just a day off. I mean, I know it doesn't make a lot of sense because you're thinking, wow, a tough lefty. Let's not play JP. But JP hits lefties really well. And JP is hitting everybody well right now. I mean, he has been so locked in. This has been so fun to watch. This is the best stretch, we've ever seen him. So I think just a day is what we've been told. I don't know if anything is beyond that.
Well, it's just weird because they have an off day. It's just like if he's going to get a rest today, and your option of a guy that is hitting 390 with an on base and slugging of 515.
Right.
In a series you'd like to win against one of the best left-handers in the sport, I would think you'd rather have him in there than Dylan Moore, who prior to that game in the month of June had not had a hit. His past 32 games, he's hitting below 200. He struck out 35 times, and I think has 6 or 7 walks. Barring an injury or there was something up with JP, this from Dan Wilson and this group, it doesn't make sense to me. Why you would do that? I don't know why at this point he needs 2 days off.
Valid point.
And point well taken. Senator, I rest.
Yeah.
Your time is but it's.
We'll find out tomorrow if anything was up. But JP had to rest another day earlier for his little shoulder soreness. I don't know. But yeah, you're right. I don't know if there was anything up, but you'd think the way he's going, and you're right, them wanting to win a game, win a series, because the Astros were playing the Athletics and they beat them again, that you would want him in. I know that there's certain guys who hit left, like their job is to hit lefties. I get that. But JP is kind of an outlier. He should, he plays against everybody. I know. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it was, I get it more because he's 21 years of age, but the fan side in me was disappointed not to see Young in there. It's like at some point in his career, he's going to have to hit those guys.
Right.
He's not going to, you didn't bring him up. I mean, his future in this sport is not a platoon second baseman.
Right.
His future is to play every single day.
And for the most part, he's been doing that.
Right. And at some point, throw him in there. If you want to give anyone a rest day, this is why I just, it's curious what they did. And if we find out that he's got an injury or he got banged up, okay, then we retract everything and we put the old school white out. If you want to give anyone a day off, give your catcher a day off. But still, with that, I wouldn't do that because of who you're facing. But I'm just saying, like, just thinking ahead, or catch him. That's the other thing, catch him, because he's going to have an off day today, and then you don't play Garver. You can DH Polanco. You can play Young, but I just interesting.
Yeah,
I just like Cole Young. I just think at some point I think he's a good enough hitter that you challenge him with something like that and see how he responds.
Right, and he's obviously played every day in the minors, so he's faced lefties, and he's faced lefties here, right? But Crochet is an elite lefty, so.
Of
but
course.
You're right.
But they did it the other day. I'm blanking on who. Maybe you remember. They did it the other day with some bum left-hander. They ended up losing to. I'm blanking on who it was, and they sat him. And I'm like, why? If you're gonna, he's some left-hander that they had.
Arizona, maybe.
Yeah,
Arizona.
And he was just terrible. And you're like, why are you sitting him?
Eduardo Rodriguez.
Yeah,
yes,
that's right. Was that Arizona?
Yeah, and you're right. Like 1 run or something. You're like, this guy? Yeah, he throws at 88, 89. Yes, there are different lefties. You're right.
Sure.
Yeah, and so, but Cole's been picking it up, which has been fun to see.
It's been great.
Playing solid at defense. He and Ben. It's hard to play. You look at the Red Sox lineup and what they're doing now with Bregman out and Devers gone, which is still amazing. They traded Devers. They have gone young, and it's hard to win, and they have been winning, which has been a surprise. But when you've got 3 or 4 rookies like they do, it's hard to be consistent on offense, and it's hard to generate much offense. The Mariners are trying to do it with a couple of rookies, and that's difficult. Red Sox have like 4. Now they're the number 1 prospects, I know, but man, it is a rough go for that lineup right now. And they still, I know they won the series, but it's hard at this level to figure things out, play every day, and try to win like the Red Sox are trying to do.
Yeah. What did you make of the Devers trade?
I think there's a lot that went into it. I think there's a lot that we don't know. The Reds, they say that he's well liked. The players liked him. He was good in the clubhouse. Clearly, there was something wrong. When your owner has to fly to Kansas City to ask you to play first base, and you still say no, like something's really wrong.
Yeah.
And they called around, and Giants were like, hey, we'll take the money. We'll give you these 4 guys, which are but the main thing is we'll take the $230 million, whatever left of that contract was. So I think it's a good fit for the Giants. That's a really good fit. Devers said he'll play first, which I think is kind of funny. And he can DH there, and it helps them a lot because they needed offense for years. And Boston, you don't know what they're doing. You go back to Xander Bogaerts, they let walk. Mookie Betts, they got nothing for him. Looks like they got nothing for Devers. They're unloading money like they're a mid-market team. It's really very surprising, Red Sox, unless they've got some grand plan where they're going to do something maybe the deadline or make a huge splash free agency, like a Kyle Tucker or somebody they're going to go spend money on. It's like, it doesn't make sense. That they're worse, without Devers, obviously, and they're going to be worse this whole season unless they add. So that was weird. Like they're waving the flag already.
Yeah, it frustrates you as a Mariners fan when you see what they gave up to acquire him.
But it's money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that's the only thing.
Those prospects were nothing.
That
Mariners
prevented
have way
you.
Better.
Exactly.
Right.
So the only thing that for all accounts, all reports, they were not involved. There were very few teams involved in acquiring him. They kept it very secret. But like, if you found out he was available, or you could just, first of all, you could just see the writing on the wall that he was going to be available.
Right.
Because of the whole thing of not the third base with Bregman, the first base. Why not pick up the phone?
Say, hey.
and maybe they did, and they're like, we'll offer you, but can you take on some of the salary? And therein lies the problem. They said, no, we're not going to take any of the salary. And like, okay, we're out.
Right.
That's what's bothersome. It's just money. I think you just have to
not
pick
our
up the money. It's not our money, it's their money. And so when I always hear like payroll flexibility and there's no restrictions. Well,
right.
There are restrictions, and I don't know. I just think when you saw that return, and again, those prospects aren't valued all that much, and then you look at the two guys they got back. I mean, the pitchers. I mean, Hicks is in the bullpen.
Right.
I mean, God, it just like, can you imagine Devers? I don't care about the money, and I care about like whatever was happening in Boston. Yeah, maybe he rubs some teammates the wrong way. Some teammates like him. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But that bad in the Mariners lineup,
right? You go JP, Julio, Devers, Raleigh.
Wow. And he can play first base. Wow. You DH.
No, I know. Don't go there, Puck. But someone pointed out too. You know, he's getting. I think it's 27 a year is what Devers' the average is, and you're paying the Mitches. Haniger and Garver, 27 million.
Okay, beautiful transition, like we set it up.
Oh,
if they don't plan to trade Ford, which is I'm guessing they are actively trying to trade him. Just bring him up then, because I don't understand why they just keep rolling Mitch Garver out there. It's a sunk cost. It didn't work. It's no one's fault. You thought it was going to work.
Right. I'm
not going to be one of these people that bangs down, Garver personally, because I don't know what's going on with him. And sometimes this happens, towards the end of their career, or it just, for whatever reason, hasn't worked here. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I don't know Mitch Garver and all that, but it just, it has not been a good fit here in Seattle. And it's funny because we talk about them not spending money. Then they spend money a little bit, and it's $24 million, and it's just a sunk cost. But he's hitting 205. It's just there's nothing there. He doesn't seem happy, professionally. Maybe personally he is here, but if you're not going to trade Harry Ford, why not just bring him up?
Bring him up and play him as
a couple times a week.
Does that help his development, you think? I mean, if you bring him up, you'd have to catch him maybe twice a week's hard because Cal doesn't sit out in the game. So say twice a week and then DH 2-3 times a week, right? And maybe Garver can DH a little bit and play some first.
He has to be a better option than Garver.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. You would think just – from what he's doing in AAA, you'd think he's got to be better, but that doesn't mean it's going to translate in the bigs right away. I don't know. But you're right. As far as trading, his value, I don't think will be higher than what it is right now.
That's why it's clear they're actively trying to move him, because you don't want to bring him up, expose him to the majors, and they're like, well, he's not that good, but he's really good. Like, his value is probably never going to be higher than it is right now.
Right. So it'll be interesting. Jerry does love to trade, and seeing this Devers deal, he likes to trade too before the deadline.
Okay.
So
let's
now
deal away.
Seeing the Devers thing, he's like, oh, now okay, let's go. I'll be motivated to do something.
Like you start looking at the teams that are out of it. Do they have anybody that you want? No, the Orioles do, and we've talked a lot about O'Hearn, and O'Hearn would be the primary guy. But because the Orioles are out of it, like, everyone's going to go after Ryan O'Hearn.
Right.
Everybody's going to want him.
And other teams will be willing to take on a rental like he is.
Yeah.
He's signed just through this year.
Correct.
Jerry and the Mariners do not like doing that. They like getting guys that they've got club control and guys that'll be around for a while. If you're going to give up prospects, they want guys who are going to be here. But I know it's just a different philosophy. Some teams can take the rental and some don't.
And you look at the teams, like they're gonna do anything in their division, so they're not gonna deal with the Athletics. You look at the Nationals and the Marlins. I mean, I don't know if there's anybody on there that they want. You go, back at least in the American League. Okay, you look at the White Sox. You're not gonna do anything. The Royals aren't gonna do anything right now. Okay, the White Sox. So everybody's gonna want Luis Robert.
But he's terrible.
Yeah. So
he's
and again,
200.
Yeah, that's what I mean. In a way, he's like this year's version, kind of a Rosarina. He's like going to be like one of the best bats available,
right? Based on what he's done in
Sure.
his previous career, right? And hope that a change of scenery will help him, and maybe so. But he's an elite defender in outfield. You know, I know Raley's coming back soon, but it'd be nice to get like an everyday outfielder like they tried with Tavares. It didn't work out. But yeah, no, I know it's going to be interesting to see. But you're right. Not a lot of teams are out that will have the pieces you need. You know,
who's the odd man out when Raley comes up? Is it Canzone or is it Tellez?
I would guess Canzone.
Yeah.
Just because I think really the bigger need would be in right field for him.
More comfortable in right field. More comfortable outfielder, right? I mean, he plays first, but he's more comfortable out there. Okay.
Yes, for sure. All
right. What's your predicted score today for you? What's your target score?
You know, I'm trying to, Puck, we're always working on things.
Christ.
I don't get to practice anymore. If I break 80, I'll be happy. You know, I'm sure it's a good course. I'm going to try to. Yeah, that'll be the goal.
We're going to tee it forward?
Right around 80. I'm going to tee it forward. Yeah, come on. I'm old enough now. I can tee it forward.
Tee it forward.
Come on. These guys, they still hit it past me. I'll tee it forward.
You're going to start off with.
I'm like that old guy, like you and I. You're like 100 yards in. That's where we get him, Puck.
Yeah, that's where.
Wedge
right
and putt,
there.
chip and putt, wedge and putt.
Yeah.
Old man par.
Yeah, do it.
Let's go.
Do it.
I've no shame in that. Yeah.
You start off with a Greyhound on the first tee, or what do we do?
Well, the assistant pro, I don't know.
Yeah, God, he probably doesn't want anybody to drink on the course,
right? They want us to throw our cans in the woods. I don't know.
On the second hole, just say, "Hey, I'm gonna go pee behind that tree and see what happens. see what he says. Pull the cart right up next to the green.
Yeah.
This is how we play on my home course.
Box. Yeah,
back
no
home.
rules. No rules.
That's how we do it at Overlake.
That's right, baby. All right, my friend.
Brad Adam, John Howie Steak, Whiskey by John Howie. You're the best. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks, Brad.
Thank you, buddy.
There he is, Brad Adam, weekly with us every single Tuesday, talking Mariners baseball, a little golf, a little life. And, what a hard life for Brad. Gets to go on the road, stay at a nice hotel with the team, eat good food, travel first class, go play a little golf. Brad Adam with us every single Thursday. If you came in late to it, to the show, to the live show course, everything podcast later, part of the DPD. That is on YouTube. Also, the Daily Punch Up. You can find it on Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcast. And, of course, everything up there at pucksports.com. Also, on Thursdays on the live show, as we transition to our next guest. By the way, hey, What the Puck coming up at the end of the show. We'll talk more about sports heartbreak and something that was just terrible last night in sports. And it hit me hard watching it last night. The Mitch Unfiltered. Every Thursday we've been doing it. I don't know how many shows we've done. He calls them chapters, episodes. I think we're on 8, 9. KJ Arntz, the Castaways. Every Thursday, Mitch joins me during the live show. Sometimes it's live, but we caught up with him early this morning. We taped it this morning just because I've been having technical problems, and I wanted to make sure we got it out there. But he joins during the live show. We play the entire podcast during the live show. But once I sign off around 11:30, the entire podcast with Mitch will go just for Puck's Posse members. So go to pucksports.com to sign up there. Or if you're a member of Mitch Unfiltered, mitchunfiltered.com, you have access to it. Or you can sign up for him. For Mitch's page there as well. But to watch and listen to the entire thing once the live show is over, you have to sign up to be a Puck's Posse member. Again, go to pucksports.com, or the QR code on your screen will take you there as well, or go to mitchunfiltered.com and become a member there. I had lots of stuff planned to talk to Mitch about, and then we got sidetracked with a bunch of stories. He's got a great Syracuse story, a phenomenal Digger Phelps story. We talk about the Sonics. He learned my age through a story that he read. But you never know where this is going to go. He's the best storyteller in the business. He joins us every Thursday, KJ Arntz, with our good friend Mitch Levy. Well, another edition of KJ Arntz with Mitch Levy.
Chapter...
I don't know. Sandmeyer and Stretch got on me for that. Like, well, I don't get why everyone does the chapters, the episodes.
I heard Stretch.
The headlines. I don't get it. And they're like, I don't like it.
No, Stretch, what I heard Stretch do was tell you that he doesn't like the fact that people say, like, episode 388 of Mitch Unfiltered at the beginning. That's what I heard him say.
Yeah. He was really just going right at you.
Yes, he was.
He's just a shot right at you.
This is what happens when I don't return his call within like 5 minutes. If I get a message from him and I don't return the call like super fast, or if he texts me and I don't text him back like within seconds, I'm in trouble.
What's the policy on returning text? Are you like, because I find if I don't answer right away, and I'll see it right away, and then there's in my brain, I'm like, okay, I don't need to answer this right away, because if I answer it, it might be one of those things now we're going back and forth for a while, and I don't want to go back and forth for a while. I could rather just pick up the phone or whatever.
It's a similar question I asked my wife last night, and I was actually talking about a different subject, but very similar, that I'm going to open. Maybe I should try out the material on you. I'm going to open episode 389 on Monday with Hotshot Scott, and that is the God bless you public policy. Are you somebody who says God bless you to some random woman or man that you've never seen before, like in the market, if they sneeze nearby? Are you somebody who just will just say, hey, God bless you, Gesundheit?
I do the Gesundheit.
Okay, but you do it with a random person, right?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
I don't know why. I just think it's ingrained in my head for so long that it's just like it's a natural, when somebody does it, it's a natural reaction. I don't even think about it.
Absolutely. And I am the same. However, you know that some sneezers, some public sneezers, that's the beginning of a chain. It could be 5, 6, 7 sneezes in a row. But once I think you enter that room and you say Gesundheit to the first one, aren't you kind of committing yourself to saying it to the second, to the third, to the fourth, to the fifth?
No, it only requires the person not sneezing to the person sneezing one time. You get a one-time call. Yeah, it's a one-timer.
No.
Yeah, it's because you don't do it 4 in a row, because I've got allergies.
No.
If I do it 5, 6 in a row, I didn't need somebody in there saying, God bless you, God bless you, God bless you.
It happened to me last night. I said, God bless you right away. It was like, as you say, it was a reflex. And then he didn't even see my face. He didn't even know who I was. And he sneezed again. And I found myself trying not to say God bless you, but I couldn't. I could not.
And he's looking over at you. Are you going to say it or not going to say it? Because you said it the first time.
That's right. I think you're committed. I think once you say it the first time, you're saying it until the sneeze fest is over.
Then you're there for 20 minutes.
But then it becomes awkward, because now you're God bless youing somebody who you'd never even seen in your life before, like 6, maybe 7, 8 times, the whole thing. So I think maybe the best policy is don't get started with it. Because if he sneezes nearby, he's not going to think twice that a stranger that's 15 feet down the row didn't say God bless you to me. He's not going to think twice about that. But once you say God bless you, it's going to hit him like, oh, that was nice of the guy. He said God bless you. He doesn't know me from Adam. He doesn't know me from Adam. And
why do we say it anyways?
I don't know. I have no idea. To be nice.
No, I've
be nice. No,
I've looked this up. I've looked it up before.
Yeah.
And something about an old wise tale where they thought your heart stopped.
Oh. Listen to you teaching us on chapter 46 of the KJ Arntz.
So I've got it here. Thank God for AI.
Yeah.
One popular theory suggests that its origins lie in the Roman plague of 590 AD, where Pope Gregory believed a sneeze was an early sign of the plague. Well, so I was off. And encouraged blessings to ward off the disease.
Oh.
Another theory is that originate from ancient beliefs is that a sneeze expelled the soul or evil spirits. And the blessing, this is what I remember, was meant to protect against the soul's loss or the entry of evil.
Mm.
All right.
Okay.
God bless you.
Yeah. Why do I find myself wishing that this week's show went down as opposed to last week's show went down? Yeah. What's the irony in the fact that we just did 8 minutes on sneezing that nobody gives a shit about? And that's going to get out there. Everybody's going to see that just fine. But my award-winning Fred Couples story that I shared with you and your audience last week, nobody heard. Not a soul heard the punchline. And
I feel honored though, because I heard it, and I feel like it's just my story only. There's nothing I could have done. Okay, other than backing it up, but there was a global outage. There was a global outage of all the cloud systems. What was I supposed to do? I didn't foresee that coming.
You got to understand that I literally practiced telling that story in the shower.
I'm sorry.
Before chapter 12 of the KJ Arns. I practiced that story. I had the delivery. I had the timing. I was ready for you. And then only you heard my Fred Couples.
It was so good.
Story.
I felt so bad.
Yeah.
I did. I felt just awful. I did, because I was so mad.
You know what? I found out last night something about you.
Ooh. Uh-oh.
I found out that you're 49 years old.
Yeah. Would you bump into somebody and said, hey, did you know he's 49?
Oh, you don't know the answer. I was going to ask you Stump the Man question. How did Mitch find out randomly, just randomly, that Jason Puckett is 49 years old just last night on the eve stretch of chapter 46 of the KJ Arns?
Jesus. I can't even give you a good guess. I have no idea.
It's true. It's terrific. It's terrific. I am getting ready to go to sleep. I'm on my phone. I shouldn't be. They tell me not to be on my phone before you go to sleep. I'm reading different articles, and I come across an article from The Athletic talking about Seattle sports fans rooting against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And the first two words, it comes from some bar in Ballard or something.
Great bar.
How Sonics fans congregate at this particular 102-year-old establishment in Ballard to watch the NBA Finals and root for the Indiana Pacers. And I think in the first paragraph, it says, Jason Puckett, 49, You're quoted. And then it starts quoting people I know. I know all these people that the article's quoting.
Really?
Yeah, well, many of them. It quoted Mike Gastineau. I kind of know him.
Yeah.
Quoted Mike Gastineau. Quoted a guy that I think I knew a long time ago from Fox Sports and ESPN.com. Jackson something. I'm reading the article, and I'm like, okay, why do I know all these people at this bar in Ballard? Is there some? Was this a put up story? Was this who wrote this story for the
Michael Shandugar? And I remember, when Mike wrote that, he contacted me. This was the game one. This was after game one of the NBA Finals. So Mike's Chili Parlor is been there. You read the story. It's been there for 100+ years. I go there often.
You do?
It's one of those Cheers type places.
Oh.
Right, where everybody goes there. It's the same regulars, in and out. Yeah, it's a great.
Does Jason Puckett, 49, go there every once in a while?
Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah. I find a lot of Fridays. I find myself not every Friday, but I'll pop in there. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And it's a good group of people that are in there, and it's just a fun old school spot. So they were doing. There's a semi-regular guy there. His name's Mike Seeley. He's not the owner. Mike is another Mike is the owner of the bar. And Mike Seeley just came up with this idea. He wanted to have an OKC hate watch party. For game one. He's like, we're going to show up, going to wear Sonics gear, root against the Thunder, root for the Pacers. And so it kind of gained steam. And then Mike, who owns the bar, is like, hey, you want to come out? You want promote a little bit? I'm like, sure. So we went there, whatever the day that was. I can't even remember, whatever game one was. And it was good. It was a good crowd, like 20 odd people there. It was fun. But it was hilarious because the Pacers ended up winning, right? Incredible shot by Halliburton. And they ended up winning. And it felt like you were watching the Sonics win. Because everybody's wearing Sonics gear. The Pacers are wearing yellow. So they kind of look like the Sonics anyways in a weird way. Mm-hmm. It was a weird experience to be sitting in there because you have no real dog in the fight. And yet everybody watching game one of the finals is living and dying with every possession. Mm-hmm. I mean, everything. Every call that goes against Indiana is the wrong call. Every foul that's committed against SGA is the wrong foul. Just from the second the ball was thrown in the air for a tip. So it was strangely cool atmosphere. So then it just kind of, they did it for another game. And I know Mike contacted me after it. He's like, hey, tell me more about it. And then I think he went out there. I think he's going, maybe he went for the game 4, I think, and wrote about this. And so, yeah. And then they're having another one tonight because as we're recording this on Thursday, they'll have another hate watch party, game 6 tonight, which is probably going to be a funeral because they're going to win the game and celebrate.
Are you going to go?
I got baseball practice tonight, so I cannot make it.
You were prominently featured in this article.
Well, I did not even see it come out yet.
Oh,
and now I'm going to skim it when it just came out yesterday.
I know your age because
so that's how you know
of the article. Yeah, Jason Puckett, 49, yeah.
Well, this one's gonna stink tonight. I know we should be over it, and it's a lot of years, and that's why I'm wearing the Sonics hat today. It's just gonna be another because they're gonna win, especially if Halliburton's. I mean, even if he's gonna play, he's not gonna be 100%. It's just a more salt in the wound for us NBA fans and Sonic fans.
It's a bummer. I'm wondering how the LA Lakers sale.
Oh Jesus.
Complicates or doesn't complicates the new Sonics expansion fee price, because I know the Boston Celtics sale had plenty to do with what they're going to charge the expansion fee here in Seattle and Las Vegas. So, I'm wondering now. Yeah.
What Celtics were $6 billion?
Yeah, 6 and change. Yeah.
And the Lakers are 10?
10. Valuation of 10. I don't think she sold the entire.
Yeah.
Maybe she did. I don't know that the buses are out completely, but they're out from a majority stake. That's for sure.
They kept like 15%.
Oh, they did?
Is what I read. But so now what do you think? Do you think what's the expansion fee? What do you think? Best case. You know people.
Best case? I think it's going to be north of 5 for sure. I don't know that it'll get to 6, but my guess is it'll be in that range, that 5-6 range. And there's just not a lot of people walking around. I know we have lots and lots of billionaires, but you got to not only be a billionaire, but you've got to have that like liquid. You got to be able to call your banker and say, "Hey, wire over $5 billion." I mean, there's just not a lot of people walking around. That's why I don't know if you saw this a couple of years ago, the NBA and I think the NFL decided we're going to let equity groups, we're going to let funds be involved in ownership, because it's getting to the point where it's crazy. You got to have a group,
because the group.
I understand Howard Schultz is getting a group together to buy them.
Shut up. Shut up. God. So the
Howard Schultz and his group are going to make a play for the NBA in Seattle. Now that
he wants to right a wrong, and it's going to be led not by Howard, but by NFL media reporter / NBA owner Jordan Schultz. Jordan Schultz. Have you ever had Jordan Schultz on your show?
No.
Do you feel bad at all sometimes for Jordan Schultz?
No.
Okay, I'm just wondering.
No, I don't.
Just wondering. I don't know him personally. I don't know anything about him, but people really like anytime he reports on anything, especially in Seattle, really like shit all over him.
Rip him. Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know him. He's the son of like Howard. Like, I got no beef with him.
No, I don't have any.
Well, he's in the waiting room right now and like to come on and talk some Seahawks. Hey, Jordan, how are you?
Oh God.
Yeah, it's going to be a bitter. It's because they're going to, the only saving grace about the game 6 on Thursday is if they win it, when they win it, it's in Indiana, so they can celebrate there.
So you kind of root for them to win game 6 because you'd rather them win game 6 than win 7. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather them win it there rather than in Oklahoma City. And here's the real crappy part. Okay, now eventually they'll lose them all because they don't spend enough money on their players because they don't have enough money. But for the next 2-3 years, dynasty. You're going to win it again. There's no one in the West that challenges. There's no one in the NBA that challenges them. No one. No one is that good and that young like that
to
team.
the chalkboard.
Mm-hmm.
But I did read in that article that Mike Gastineau says that we shouldn't care that much. We just do. We shouldn't really care that much. None of us should really care that much if the Oklahoma City Thunder win the NBA championship.
Well, I love Gas, but that's crazy. That's crazy. I don't think you now. Okay. I'll say this: he's lived here. Anyone who's moved here has lived here long enough, and he's been through a ton of games and all that. I don't know. Maybe it's different. I grew up here from the second I was 5-6 years old. I remember this team. It's my favorite team. Always has been my favorite team. Yeah. Will always be my favorite team. So if it cuts, I don't know. It cuts more personally for me, maybe than others who didn't grow up here. Certainly people that spend. I mean, like you guys have all spent enough time here to understand it all. But I don't know. It just that. Every time I see them, I want bad things to happen to that organization. All of it. I want to get destroyed.
I was once the pregame, halftime, and postgame host, sideline reporter on Sonics TV. Did you know that?
Yes, because back in the day, pay-per-view, I had it.
Well, it's the reason I got my job. I can tell you, I could share 2 quick stories.
Sure,
I've never given a quick story. I always say that.
No, these are like, okay, but by the time this is over, we'll have to wrap it up so I can get ready for the show.
All right, forget it. I'll just leave it at that. I had 2 quick stories. First of all,
just do it. Yeah, do the story.
Okay. My brother, one of my 2 brothers, when I start a story, always says, Mitchell, short version, Mitchell. The reason I got the job at KJR is the pay-per-view. Did you know that?
I did not.
Okay, so I was in Washington, D.C. in 94, and they were doing auditions, having people in. Brian Wheeler, may he rest in peace, my dear friend, was doing the midday show on an interim basis. Of course, Brian thought he was doing such a great job that he was going to be named the permanent show, and they had no intentions of doing that, and that was friction. And then they would ask him to take a break, and they would bring people in to audition for the midday show that was vacated by the fabulous Sports Babe, okay? KJR, 1994. And I was just one of many that they paraded through. But before they paraded me through, they invited a guy named, God, I'm having an old age moment, Brown. His last name was Brown. I'm pretty sure his last name was Brown. Peter Brown. It came to me. Thank you. He was like Sporting News Network. He was in Chicago. He came in. Tiptoe Tommy Lee loved the guy to begin with. Brought him in. He did a couple of shows or did a show. Knocked it dead. Tom Lee's getting ready to hire him. And apparently the night, but he did 2 shows. The night between the 2 shows that he did on KJR during the midday hours, it was Sonic season, and the Sonics were on, and he couldn't watch it in his hotel room because it was on pay-per-view. So Peter Brown, who didn't do his due diligence on the station and the ownership of the station at the time, which was owned by Barry Ackerley of the Seattle Supersonics, he comes on in his second day of auditions and is just blast. Who in the world's idea? This has got to be the most archaic, stupid idea. Pay-per-view? You really charge? You charge your pay-per-view dollars to watch regular season Seattle? Who dreamt this idea? And Tom Lee is sitting as Tom Lee tells me the story, he's sitting in his office with the radio on, his new midday host. He's going to sign him after the show. He's going to offer him a contract after the show. Tom Lee is sitting there going, no, 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 somebody stop him. No, no. And as Tom Lee says, his phone rings in Tom Lee's office. Tom Lee picks up the phone, and the voice on the other side says, Tom, Barry Ackerley, he's not our man. And he hangs up the phone. And that was the end of Peter Brown. I was the next guy they brought in. Otherwise, Peter Brown is the midday host. Mitch Levy, you guys would never have heard of. Thank God for you guys.
Pete in the morning.
Pete in the morning. Peter Brown just did himself in. Barry Ackerley called personally Tom Lee and said, he's not our man. And he hung up the phone. And that was the end of Peter Brown. That's the reason I got the job. And then my other quick story, and that I don't know, was that kind of quick?
That was your quickest story of all time.
Short version.
Short version again.
So when I started doing the midday show, this guy who was running the Sonics at the time, I don't know if you know these names, the guy who was running the business side of the Sonics was a guy named John Draisel.
Mm-hmm. I remember the name.
He was running the Sonics for Barry Ackerley. He was the president on the business side of the Sonics. This is like 94, 95. And Draisel comes down. We were downstairs from the Sonics. We were owned by the Sonics. We were downstairs on 190 Queen Anne. And Draisel comes down or has me come up and says, how would you like to do the sideline reporting on our pay-per-view set of games in 95? And I said, sure. He said, he worked out a deal. I would do the sideline reporting for Kevin and Marcus, Kevin Calabro and Marcus Johnson on the call, Mitch Levy on the sidelines. I would do the pregame show if we had one. I'd do the halftime. I would do the highlights. Charles Barkley forearmed me once. I was on the court during a timeout doing highlights. I had a little monitor. I'm looking at the monitor doing highlights of like the Indiana Pacers Miami Heat game, and all of a sudden I get just whacked from the side. I look up and he's laughing. Charles Barkley thinks I'm on camera and he gives me the point. Lots of stories. So you do remember this, that I used to travel with my father to see Syracuse play in the NCAA tournament. We did that as a father-son thing for 25 straight years before he passed away. And this was in my contract at KJR. Mitch goes to the NCAA tournament with his dad. Wherever Syracuse goes, he's allowed time off, right? And so we went to every game. We went to Big East tournament games. We went to first-round games, second-round games, Sweet 16 if they made it to the Final Four. Wherever they went, my father and I went. We never missed a game together. He would come from Florida. I would go from Seattle or Washington. Okay. 1996, Syracuse makes the Final Four. That's the year they had John. That's the year Kentucky won. It was in the Meadowlands. It was the last ever Final Four in a regular NBA facility, not one of these huge domes. It was in where the New Jersey Nets played, the Meadowlands, East Rutherford, New Jersey. Syracuse, an unlikely like 6 seed, 5 seed, make it all the way to the Final Four. Pitino's Kentucky team that had 5 NBA players, Mercer and that whole crew, wins the national championship. Okay. Well, I'm going on Saturday. They're playing Mississippi State and Dante Jones on that Saturday, Final Four. And I look at the schedule, and I've got a pay-per-view game. Sonics pay-per-view game. Well, it's not going to be a problem. Everybody knows I go up. I make these trips. I go up the stairs to John Draisel's office, and I catch John probably in a bad mood that day. And I explain to him that I can't do Saturdays like Sonics Rockets game on pay-per-view, the sideline, because I'm going on Saturday to New Jersey to meet my father for the Final Four. And he looks at me and he says, you make that trip, no need to come back. No need to come back. You're off the air. I said, what? He said, no, you have a commitment to the Sonics pay-per-view. We're holding you to that commitment. We expect you to be there Saturday night, 7 o'clock, T Arena, Sonics Rockets. And I'm like, hold on. I do this trip with my father. I've been doing it for 20. Really? He said, yep. I'm holding you to it. Otherwise, we'll replace you permanently on the broadcast. By the way, John Draisel hates when I tell this story. He's heard me tell this story. He hates it because he hates how he sounds with this. He's told me on the golf course, God, it's the one thing I regret more than anything, not letting you go to that fucking. And
keep bringing it up.
Keep bringing it up. So I'm like outraged. I call my father. I said, I can't come. I can't meet you at the semifinals. I can't go. He's like, what do you mean you can't go? You have it in your contract. And I'm like, no, I can't go. John Drasel's not letting me go. So I decide I'm going to fix him. I'm going to fix John Drasel. Syracuse wins in the semifinal against Mississippi State on Saturday, like early evening.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing on Monday night. I'm going to that game. All right. They're playing Kentucky for the national championship. And Kevin and Mark, I didn't tell anybody. Do you remember Don's daughter, Donna? The barber?
No.
Okay, there was a barber shop on Queen Anne. She did George Carlson, everybody's hair. Don's daughter, Donna, the barbershop. She painted my face orange on one side and like blue on the other, with an S on one cheek and a U on the other, and we didn't tell anybody. So now we're on live pay-per-view. Hey, it's Kevin and Marcus, and they, by the way, was there anything better than Kevin and Marcus?
The best ever. And they know what's going on. No. They don't know what's going on, but do they know that you wanted to go?
No, they don't know a damn thing.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think they know a damn thing.
Okay.
And we come on the air. Hey, Sonics pay-per-view presents. It's the Sonics and the Rockets. Hey, welcome to Key Arena. Along with Marcus Johnson, I'm Kevin Calabro. The Sonics are led by Gary Payton, who's averaging 20 and 10. Marcus goes on and on. And the Rockets come in on a 12-game losing streak or something like that, you know. And they go on and on. Hey, let's check in for the first time with our sideline host, Mitch Levy. Hey, Mitch, what do you got for us? And I come on camera. I'm in my suit and tie, and my face is painted. And I can hear in my IFB or whatever you call that damn thing in your ear, Kevin and Marcus like in disbelief. They can't. They're like they don't know whether to laugh or. And I just never mentioned it. I just did the whole freaking broadcast with my face orange on one side and blue with the SU on my. I never. Oh. And when I tossed it back to them. Now let's get back to Kevin and Marcus, guys. That's exactly what you just did. When you started, they couldn't talk. Kevin was like, just like that, and Mark, the two of them, they couldn't get. They were so. They thought it was so fun. Anyway, that's my.
Did you no one when you're walking out, like the camera guy when he's got you, he's like, "What are you doing?"
They're all laughing.
Did you ever get a call from John? Like, hey man, what did you do that for? Was never mentioned.
Never.
Nothing from Ackerley. Barry wasn't watching.
Was never mentioned.
Wow.
And so as the story goes, my father passed away in 2014. As the story goes, we started in 1989. Okay. So we went from 1989, my father and I, this is Big East tournament, NCAA tournament, every game, from 89 to 2014, actually 2013. So that's 25 years. We missed one game. One game, Mississippi State versus Syracuse in the Meadowlands, and I had my face painted.
Did your dad go by himself?
No, refused to go. We met for the championship game. We were there for the championship game.
Yeah.
On Monday night.
That's a good one. Do you have video of that?
Yeah,
anywhere?
Somewhere. Oh, how about this one? The year before. Oh, are we out of time?
No, you're good. You got a couple more minutes. Go ahead.
The year before. Now old-time midday show hosts and morning show audience will remember this. The year before, 1995, where's the Final Four? The year before.
Seattle.
Right. And so we're in Seattle, and my agent at the time represented a lot of the ESPN people. Okay? The ESPN TV people. And she decides, her name is Ellen Beckwith, she decides she's going to have, on the day in between, she's going to have a dinner. And it was at the Queen City Grill in, I don't even know if it's still there, in, not Pioneer Square, Belltown, like Queen City, on a corner there. Okay? And she has her clients. John Saunders, may he rest in peace, was there. All the ESPN, everybody's in town. Everybody's there. She represented Digger Phelps, Jamie Moyer's father-in-law at the time, and Mitch Levy. And so we're sitting at the Queen City Grill, and Digger comes in a little late. We're sitting in a booth, and Digger comes in, and I'm talking to Mike Tirico. Mike Tirico, who was my peer advisor at Syracuse. When I went to Syracuse in '85, he was assigned to me to show me the ropes and show me how to, what classes I had to take and where I got my books, the whole thing. My peer advisor. So he and I are talking, and I always hated Boeheim. And Tirico got a kick out of the fact that I always hated Boeheim because Tirico's in the back for Boeheim. And he would get me going. He'd wind me up. So Phelps and Boeheim were like best friends, okay? And Phelps comes in 3 sheets to the wind because he had been somewhere else drinking. He comes in to sit down at this booth, and Tirico's asking me, still hate him, asking me a question. Oh. And I'm just going off on Boeheim to Tirico, who's standing outside the booth. Now, you got to figure, this booth is not a big booth. You got Phelps on one side and Mitch Levy on the other. Little Ellen Beckwith is sitting in the corner. And Phelps hears me going and just starts screaming at me in the middle of the restaurant. He says, I'm going to throw you out of that window. I will throw your ass out of that plate glass window. Who the hell? Who do you think you are? And he's spitting and he's screaming, and Ellen Beckwith doesn't know what to do. He's screaming, he's spitting. How many games have you won as a college basketball coach? And I was like, Digger, relax. It's my opinion. You can't have an opinion until you've coached a game. You haven't won a game. You don't know shit. Don't keep your mouth shut. You're talking about one of the great college coaches in America. Keep your mouth shut or I will throw you out. And he's screaming and he's getting mad. And I'm just like calm. And he's getting mad. And finally, he slams his hand down on the desk. All the plates go flying. And he said and he looks at Ellen Beckwith and he says, you represent this douchebag? And he gets up and he walks away, screaming. Okay? This is Digger Phelps, Jamie Moyer's ex-father. All right. Listen, this is a good one. That's 95. Ellen doesn't know what to do. She's calling me the next day. Will you call Digger? She thinks she's going to. Digger may have been her highest priced talent at the time. He was making big bucks at ESPN. He's working with Dick Vitale. She was in with the ESPN. And I was just lowly Mitch Levy at KJR in Seattle. I was like her least important client. And now her least important client has pissed off her most important client. And it could cost her. And she doesn't know what to do. I said, it'll all blow over, Ellen. It'll all blow over. Okay? National Championship Monday, 1995 comes and goes. All right? The next year, the year that I wasn't allowed to go to the Final Four, I was at the Elite Eight and the Sweet 16 in Denver. You might remember Al McGuire dancing with the Syracuse guys after they upset. Sure. Yeah, the Cuse is in the house. Oh my God! We were there. It was in Denver, Colorado. They were an underdog. They beat Kansas and like North Carolina to get to the Final Four. They had no business being in the Final Four. It was a masterful coaching job by Jim Boeheim. All right, I get it, Puck. None of this is exaggerated. I get back to Seattle after that game, that Sunday Elite Eight game, late at night, SeaTac Airport. I don't know. I was on a late night flight on Sunday night. The place is empty. I come out of the airport on Sunday night and I go into the garage where my car is at the SeaTac Airport. The thing that goes around. And I'm doing that whole loop-de-loop-de-loop-de-loop. And I turn on the car, and my radio station, happens to be on KJR, of course, right? And it's like Sunday night at 1 o'clock in the morning, right? So we're running ESPN radio, okay? The Final Four is set. It's Monday morning, 1 a.m., Sunday night, 1 a.m. Mitch is now driving home to Queen Anne from SeaTac, and I turn on the ignition. I kid you not. Digger Phelps is on with the ESPN guys on the phone with whoever's hosting the overnight at ESPN. And Digger Phelps, the minute I'm driving home, starts yelling at these guys, I was in Seattle last year at a restaurant in Seattle, and there was this dude who's on radio in Seattle bashing Jim Boeheim. I wonder where he is now. What's he saying today? He's screaming at these guys. What is he saying today after Boeheim has taken his team to the Final Four? Where is he? Where is that guy? And I'm like driving up. I'm going, I'm right here, Digger. I'm right here. That's the first thing I hear. He's just bashing me. He wouldn't name me, obviously. He said, you should have heard the way this guy was mistreating Jim Boeheim in Seattle a year ago. I'd like to know what he and all of Boeheim's critics have to say today. And I'm driving at 1 o'clock listening to this.
Oh, God, that's an all-timer. God, I've never heard that. I've heard a lot of your stories. That one, I have not heard the Digger Phelps story.
Oh.
Perfect. Good KJ Arns today. Good job. And remember, when you're watching and listening during the live show, once the live show's over, it's gone. It goes behind the Mitch Unfiltered. You can get it there if you're a subscriber to Mitch Unfiltered or Puck's Posse. Just go to pucksports.com to sign up there. All it's going to cost you is $5. Listen, that Digger Phelps story alone is worth $5.
And I am here to say, God bless you all. And sign up for Pucks. If you have a choice, sign up for Pucks. I think we're at capacity. I don't think we can let anybody more in. We don't have no more room on Mitchie the Kid's Patreon.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks, Mitchie. There he is, Mitch Levy, Mitch Unfiltered, live with us every single Thursday. And again, that in full show with Mitch. KJ Arns will run in its entirety during the live show. Once the Daily Puck Drop is over, though, the full podcast with Mitch, only available for Puck's Posse members. Go to pucksports.com to sign up there. Go to mitchunfiltered.com if you want to sign up for Mitch's page. Or if you're already a Mitch subscriber and a Puck subscriber, you get it. And you'll get it once the show is over coming up later. So if you came in late, the full show, again, up for Puck's Posse members. Just go to pucksports.com. We'll give you in the Daily Puck Drop later. We'll give you about 10 minutes of it, but just a little teaser. All right, we wrap up the Thur with Hey What the Puck, which of course is always brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle. It's a restoration company that lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, mold damage with their property restoration services. Give them a call, 206-817-8917. Visit them online at restoration1.com. North Seattle franchise. I said there was heartbreak tonight watching the Thunder most likely celebrate an NBA championship. It was heartbreak last night. And man, I'm a father, and I've got a kid that plays baseball, and if I was the father of this young man for Arkansas last night. I don't know if people saw this. Now, for those just listening to this, we'll set it up. Arkansas is leading by 2. They are in the bottom of the 9th inning. They're gonna win and force another game of the LSU to go to the College World Series championship, go to the final series. Arkansas is up by 2. They get an out. They make some boneheaded plays defensively. But then with 2 outs, a ball is hit to left field. And the left fielder stumbles, trips, and the ball hits him like in the shoulder and bounces away. Both runs score to tie the game. They ended up losing on the very next batter. But it just, for the viewing audience, I'll play the clip for you.
This ball is hooked to left field, and a bad read. It goes off of the left fielder's head, Davalon. Both runs are going to come in, and we are tied again.
So LSU ties it there. The young man who it went off his glove, and I guarantee you, Charles Davalon, the emotions that happened afterwards of this young man. There was a camera crew there for Arkansas that caught it and caught the emotions of the kids. Charles, if you're watching it, he's on the right. The tears, coaches and players all hugging each other. There's winners and losers in sports. and LSU is going to advance. You know, Charles, I'm guarantee, is a hell of a baseball player. He's playing Division I baseball. He's put himself in that position a million times and has probably made a million plays. I think the emotion that he showed after the game, I think the compassion that his teammates showed for him and tried to pull him back up was just a phenomenal display of being a great team, because that's what it's all about, is being a great team and being a great teammate. Hats off to that Arkansas baseball program and their fans. Well, I don't know fans. Some fans. I'm sure there's a lot of fans that have gone after the kid. But to those teammates, what I saw last night and what I saw from them consoling Charles, just so much respect for your program, so much respect for you as teammates, because that young man, you know, has to feel the lowest he's probably ever felt in his life. And he's going to need the support of you and his family and everyone, because it's caught on TV and it's the biggest moment of his, you know, probably at that point of his playing career. And you just feel awful for a kid like that. And I think LSU would feel awful for him, you know, to a degree. You want to win a game. Everybody wants to win. You don't want to win that way. And it wasn't just, you know, the mistake that he made there in left field of just simply you know, falling down. But, you know, there were just a series of mistakes that ended up leading to that moment for Arkansas. You know, they had one out, a batter reached, you know, on an infield single. He gets the second because of a throwing error on the first baseman. Then there was a walk. So they had runners in first and second, again with one out. You know, there's probably a decision by a shortstop that he probably regrets. The ball was hit to his right. I get it. His momentum was taking him to his right. Instead of trying to turn the double play, he elected just to get the force over there at third, which he did. He later just said after the game, I just didn't think he could turn to hit second, to hit first, to get the double play. So that leads again to first and second, and then, you know, led to what happened there to Charles, and then next hitter singles up the middle, and the game's over, and they go to the World Series. So, but again, I just want to say, incredible display of being a great teammate by Arkansas yesterday. Just really, just great sportsmanship and just being excellent teammates for a guy that's going to need it. So hats off to Arkansas. Hey, What the Puck brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle. Your restoration company lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, mold damage with their property restoration services. Locally owned and operated. Make them your first call when those damages affect your residential or commercial property. 206-817-8917. Visit them online, restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. Big thanks, everybody watching and listening today. Thank you to all the sponsors, Lindback Lumber, John Howie Steak. In addition to, we didn't have Garafolo on today. So I almost thanked Zogs on Fox On. You know, shout out to Zogs and shout out to Hartley and Hartley Insurance. Also, Georgetown Brewery and Restoration One. Find today's Daily Punch Up on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, please. Also, find it on Daily Punch Up on your favorite podcast platforms and at pucksports.com. When you're at pucksports.com, sign up to become a member of the posse. $5 a month is all it costs you. You support all the free shows we do. Plus, you get VIP bonus shows as well. Our baseball coverage with MLB insider Ryan Divish. Sports Pit with Steve Sandmeyer, Matt Stretch Johnson. Mitchie the Kid, which is Thursdays during the live show, but then for Puck's Posse members after the show, just in a podcast version. And, of course, be sure to check out Graz with Gas Take 5 podcast, produced by Puck Sports. New episodes every single Monday. Visit the website to find out more at pucksports.com. Big thanks for tuning in. Everybody enjoy the rest of your fabulous Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow on Friday's edition. Jimmy Moore, Chris Egan, and a surprise bonus visit there with Mike Garafolo. See you tomorrow. As always, promise to be better.
No shoes, no ties.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah.
I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you. But you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for?
We'd like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!